G'day, I'm Zach, the Australian Director of X Class Drone Racing League, and what we're going to go through today is the X Class drones themselves, some safety aspects, our standard operating procedures, and also a fly into a net. So we'll start off with the drone itself. So this one here is the Big Friggin' Wedge. This was designed by Rising Sun FPV in Australia. This drone here, all built up, weighs roughly around 2.5 kilos. Okay, and then once you put the batteries on, which weigh about 900 grams each, we use 2 to make 12S. Okay, so roughly the drone with all up weight, you're looking at around 4 kilos worth of weight there. Now with the drone itself, we have our FPV camera that transmits an image via your video transmitter to a set of goggles, and then we also have our RC link. So RC link, we prefer TBS Crossfire just due to its low fail-safe rate. Okay, but we don't sort of discriminate, and we don't allow we allow any sort of RC link to come in and be used. So with the drones, okay, we have a couple of different things that we have set up in regards to scrutineering and checks at an event. So now at an event, when a pilot rocks up, they'll do a couple of different tests. The first test is going to be an airframe test, and that's where we will have an official go through and check the actual airframe for airworthiness. So that's them going through, ensuring that it was built to a decent standard. Mind you, that these are built in garages all around the world. So we go through and we just want to make sure that it's not going to disassemble itself in midair in a race. So we go through, check all the bolts, check all the screws with the pilot, ask them a couple of questions. Okay, if they're the ones that built it, how much they've flown. From there, once we're happy with that, what we'll then do is we'll go into a scrutineering fail-safe check. So how to do that is they'll plug in a battery with no props on. Okay, so with the battery plugged in. Okay, so the idea of the fail-safe check or scrutineering is to ensure that if you lose RC link between the controller, okay, and the drone, that the drone automatically cuts its engine, so no pulses, okay, or cut function, alright, then it will immediately fall to the ground. One thing we do have as another safety measure with X Class is we have a pre-arm switch. So for example, this is my arm switch here. If I now flick that, it's not going to arm. What I need to do is flick my pre-arm switch, okay, which is this one here, and then I can flick this down and it will arm. Now once I disarm, alright, and then I try to re-arm again, I cannot arm because you need to flick the pre-arm switch every time. The reason we do this is we use large propellers, from 13 inch, with X Class you can use any size propeller that you want, all the way up to sort of a 20, 25 inch if you wanted to, as long as it is not wooden, and as long as it's not carbon fiber. Alright, so it needs to be a composite of some sort. So we have this pre-arm switch, okay, which needs to be flicked every time. Now in regards to the fail-safe check itself, what we want to do is ensure that the drone turns off within 5 seconds, alright, of the loss of RC link. So we'll do that now. So we'll do our pre-arm, arm the drone itself. What we do is we turn off the controller, alright, and our engine's immediately cut. So this just says that we've now just lost RC link and the drone will now fall to the sky, or fall to the ground. Okay, due to the mass of these, they don't just keep on drifting or anything like that, they pretty much drop hard to the ground, okay? Sometimes they do tumble, but due to the aluminium arms that we use, these bend and they lose their momentum. The most we'll see in these rollers around 2 meters. Okay, so pretty much once they go down hard. The other thing that we have is if the pilot loses FPV link to their goggles, okay, so no more video, alright, the pilot is instructed during the safety brief before every event to immediately disarm. Okay, these things cost around $3,000, alright, but safety is paramount, so that's why we have the instructions to disarm immediately. If they do not disarm immediately, then they are automatically disqualified from the whole event. Okay, so there are severe repercussions of not listening to officials. Okay, so once we've done the fail-safe check that we've just done there, next thing we'll move into is a pilot check. So what the pilot check involves is, obviously, these things require some level of skill to fly in a safe manner. So what we want to do is get that pilot out there by themselves with a race official. They'll then take off, okay, and fly through a gate and around a flag or do a lap of the track by themselves so that we can then prove that that pilot has some level of competency with flying this airframe. Now, the other thing that we then do is we have a landing pad, and you must land on the landing pad. There's another check that we need to do. So they'll land on the landing pad, then we get them to do another flight test where they'll start flying, and then we'll use one of our safety calls where it will be all pilots land and disarm. Okay, and that means that the racing must stop and they must land back onto the position. Okay, and this can be due to a whole matter of reasons. Alright, so it just then proves the pilot, while flying, can listen to a call and land and disarm. Okay, so in the heat of racing, they're not just got tunnel vision. Okay, that can cause a safety accident. We have a full SOP, so standard operating procedure, done up for X Class. The information for that can be found on the X Class website itself, along with the rules and information available to pilots. At the moment, we have around 5 to 6 chapters around the world, okay, including Canada, United Kingdom, Oregon, and Midwest. We compete via virtual, so we set up tracks, and those countries will then set up the exact same track where we all compete via a time trial format, and then we culminate that into a world championships, normally held in Texas, Australia, and all those kind of things. We do have large events, but always the thing with these drones is we always carry on about the safety, okay, and ensure that we are flying safe and the boys are having fun. Apart from that, that's the drones there. We have a whole lot of fail-safe checks and a whole lot of checks before the drones even get into the air. But in the event that something does happen, then we do net our safety area. So what we do is the standard for FPV drones is 30 meters, but we've bumped that out to 50 meters. Okay, so from the race tent out to the area, we have 50 meters, and then from the race tent we have a safety distance of 100 meters. Cheers.